here we go. Patch notes 7.2.0. Let's check it out. The Deadlands includes an exciting zone story, 2 delves, world bosses. Okay. Let's check out the item sets real fast. This is gonna be I'm not gonna spend too much on this. I'm gonna power through it. This will be the fastest patch notes you've ever witnessed in your life. Alright. New crafted sets. Magicka stam recovery, weapon and spell damage. While in combat, applying a major buff or debuff to a target grants you 260 Magicka and stamina recovery for 15 seconds. While in combat, applying a minor debuff or buff to a target grants you more Magicka and stam recovery. Okay. It's like a conditional regen set. What was the one from the Lizard Dungeon that's like this? Seems like a good BG set. Yeah. Seems kind of weak compared to Amber Plasm. That's what Amber Plasm. You're saying it seems weak to it. Let's check it out. I mean, it doesn't give it to you out of combat. Amber Plasm has other stats, though. I mean, this is basically if you're running a minor and a major. If these are built into your build, yeah, it's really good. I mean, it's a lot of regen. It's a lot of sustain. It's not a bad set. It's not weaker than Amber Plasm either. I mean, that totals up to 390 Magicka and stam recovery. Not including, you know, the extra boost up here. Okay. What's up, Mammoth Lemon? Amber was in there a few patches back, actually. Okay. Deadlands Demolisher. Stam, weapon, spell, and stam. Your bash attacks deal 934 more damage. When you bash, you also deal physical damage in a cone in front of you, interrupting any enemy's hit. It's going to occur every 2 seconds and counts as bash damage. Wow, is Drac Attack here? You'd be very excited to read this. The Necro Bash is back, dude. Yep, you guys said it. I mean, yeah. Probably. Iron Flask, max health, armor. When you drink a potion, reduce your damage taken by 12% for 20 seconds. I don't know. Like, is it worth reading the rest? This game's in a situation where you can actually make unkillable builds. We showed a clip the other day on the stream of someone taking 0 damage. You can actually take 0 damage. And it goes hand in hand with Vampire being low, misform, other mitigation factors. We saw a dude at 5% being chain executed by 5 people, and no damage numbers were coming up. Before that, their executioner was hitting for like, it showed like 6 damage. And you're putting in other flat percent modifiers. I don't know. I think this is this is just part of the issue. You know, it just doesn't make sense. I don't. Okay, my point is we should be going in the opposite direction. In the recent patches, you've seen the ability to compound multiple percent modifiers to the point of ridiculousness. And then on the other end, there is such insane high burst. And it's almost like, oh, the burst is too high? Well, make sure we have some tanky options in there. As if people are going to create some happy medium build where we all have juice sets and we all have really high mitigation and really high damage and somehow it balances itself out. That reality is not happening. Like, that doesn't exist. this is the last thing that should be happening. Last thing you should be doing is adding more percent modifiers. I mean, it's crazy, dude. Yeah, I wish I had that clip up of let me see if I can find it real quick. You know, it'd be a good time to highlight it. Not everyone saw it. But it did exist. Was it Crom? I think Crom had linked it, or I had to find it from Crom. Maybe if Boomer Crom's out there, he can find it for me. Crom, you out there? Get on the hunt, dude. I don't think he is here. Otherwise, he would have said he can't read the screen right now. It's too small. Hey, Crom, there you are. Hey, remember that video we were watching? Maybe you can find it. Maybe not. I'm going to move on for now. Eye of the Grasp, Light. It's max magicka, weapon and spell. Crit chance. When you deal crit damage, generate 7 ultimate. This can happen every 5 seconds. Okay. That seems cool. I can read. Yeah, do you remember that? Do you know what I'm talking about, Crom? Did you hear that? Maybe you find that clip. Remember we were watching the other... I don't know if you can. All good if you can't. Hexos Ward Medium. Crit chance. Crit chance. Weapon and spell damage. Dealing crit damage with a direct damage ability grants you a damage shield that absorbs X damage for 6 seconds. Alright. I actually don't know about that one, but okay. Alright. Key Marcher's Cruelty, heavy. Max health. I mean, that's a sizable shield every 6 seconds. It's decent. Crit chance, a little weird, but... Key Marcher's Cruelty, heavy. Max health, stam recovery, armor. When you deal direct damage, you apply 1 of 5 random debuffs. Alright, this is a reverse of Daedric Trickery. These stats are nice. You can either apply Major Breach, Cowardice, Defile, Maim, or Vulnerability. You can do it every 8 seconds. Oh, it's AoE too. So it'll do this in an AoE. Within 8 meters. And it applies it for 18 seconds. I mean, that's a very effective set. It's good. It's definitely a good set. Not positive how it fits in this meta entirely. Like, tankier people can make good use of it. But, it's just a lot of the meta is super bursty. It's so bursty that you don't look to stuff like this. Like, in older metas, this would be very fierce. But it can still make its way in there. Some people still build really stout, like a good Warden or Necro. High move speed, good resistance, never really die, 1 burst combo. Stuff like that. So... You don't have a crown? Okay. All good, brother. Alright, we have new collectibles, outfits, dyes, achievements, motifs, furnishings. You got the armory system. This is a really cool thing coming to the game. Curated item set drops. Good thing coming to the game. New mythics. A new mythic ring. Gain 100 weapon and spell damage and armor for each 3 set bonus active on the wearer. This set's effect count for any 3 or 5 piece set. It's alright. It's not bad. That could be decent. Could be decent, especially if you can get three boosts of it. Nothing crazy. What's up, Magic? How you doing? Nothing crazy, dude, but yeah, it could be decent. Belzar's band. Increase the damage of your lights by 1185 when you deal damage with consecutive melee light attacks. Gain a stack for 10 seconds, up to 5. When you perform a fully charged heavy, consume it and deal physical per stack to enemies in a line after a 1-second delay, stunning them for 3 seconds if 5 stacks are consumed. This can happen once every 4 seconds. It's a lot of damage. Werewolf's coming back, dude. That actually could be there's some ways to build with that would be very effective. Be easy to work in on a werewolf. Seems good for bow builds. I mean, bow builds don't really close down the target. I mean, good if you're kind of like the bow dudes that chill in the back and just kind of do whatever. But in a real good build, yeah, I mean, I'm thinking about the light damage and how high that could go, over 5,000 extra light attack damage. But really, when you charge heavy attack, consume this and deal physical damage per stack to enemies in a line. I mean, depending how that is, especially, could really be interesting. But all right. Smaller Ruin. Activating crouch toggles on and off a 12-meter Aura of Pride. Up to 6 allies in the Aura gain weapon and spell damage. Reduce your weapon and spell damage by 130 for every member benefiting from the Aura of Pride. Only activating crouch toggles it. Exiting it will not toggle this on or off. It's an interesting thing. They never had an aura like that toggles off that. I mean, this will probably be broken, right? You'll probably be able to like crouch and teleport and then exit crouch and it'll be broken. Get reported on the first week, never get fixed. I don't know, but it's, yeah, all right. It'd be interesting if the buff lingers with them outside of it. I don't know. PV set mainly, yeah. It's a cool idea. I think it's a cool idea, the R thing. But okay. Nothing like poggers that, you know, one man will destroy the world with that set type thing there, though. Map updates, homes, combat music. The new PvP emote. The Siege Stomper emote is acquired by combining proofs with Revenge. It's funny. Everyone's been joking about this the last 6 months. They're like, can we get a PvP update that's not just an emote? It's almost... They're like, hear you loud and clear, emote coming right up. All right, NVIDIA DLSS and DLA. New cool stuff coming for client performance improvements. Check it out if you're interested. Undaunted Celebration. Combat and abilities. Crit damage and healing now has a hard cap of 125%. Note this value can go beyond 125%. But your critical strikes will not deal more damage than 125%. Okay. Made the following adjustments to Bash. The core combat skill now has a cooldown of 333 milliseconds, down from 350 milliseconds. to ensure it can be cast up to 3 times per second, at most. Reduce the cost to 765. That's a bit. Okay. Yeah, it's fine.
But that's it.
Okay. Good luck.
Yeah, and I already fed her, so if she comes up and noses you, she might need to go out.
Okay, yeah, I'll check her in a little bit here, actually. Reduce the cost of bash. That's huge. 765 down from 1889. So they're lowering. You can do it faster. The cost is absolutely slashed. The reduced cost bash too is not percent based. So with jewelry, you can make it almost cost like nothing, right? Damage now scales with a mixture of your physical and spell resist. Oh, it scales off resist now? Reduce the cooldown phase after activating bash that prevented you from casting other abilities. For smoother gameplay when utilizing. Fixed an issue where some proc-based conditions unintentionally succeed when removing negative ground effects. The damage from this can now trigger enchantments and poisons. It'll be really interesting to see what Bash Necro can do. Outside of that, is there any reason anyone would give a shit about Bash? And just seeing that any kind of Bash weave for any kind of damage is just even more so put down. Activate clown mode, proceed to bash. That is correct. Yeah. Get your clown makeup back out. It's time to rock and roll. Bash werewolf. No, the Bash Crow is the only thing. Bash the Necro Ultimate already has stuff built in to help the Bash as well. So yeah. Necro tank with mythic Bash item in these changes. That's true, dude. It won't cost anything. Okay. There's no developer comment here for the Bashes. Should be one. Devs were bored. We thought about reworking Bash. Fixed an issue where the caster the ability using the new area of effect tech would be dismounted upon entering the area of their ability. Let this be a reminder that technology often affects us in ways we can never expect. Okay. Adjusted the following abilities to use the new area of effects. Did I miss this? What's the new area of effect system? Did I skip this, or is this get explained later? Does anyone know what we're talking about? I didn't know there was a new area of effects system. Let me store my spot here. Okay, that's the only place it's mentioned. Good stuff. Let's keep moving. Abilities and item sets that heal, deal damage, or restore resources on a set frequency while in an area of effect will no longer display visual effects on each impact for targets in their areas. Below is a list of affected sources. Okay. Just to reduce, yeah, okay. Trying to reduce stuff happening on screen. Fixed an issue where many enchantments, poisons, and item sets were not properly labeled as procs. Fixed an issue where some abilities experienced erratic visual behavior. Okay. Fixed an issue. Okay. This one's big. Fix an issue where enchantments, poisons, and item sets were not labeled as procs. We know from the combat thing, which I'm sure we'll read something about in here too, if you guys don't know. They're looking to limit procs. And that includes poisons and enchantments. But item sets, as we already know, are considered procs. What that means is basically they're limiting things where you can only proc one thing per second. So, like, if you used a build and you, like, proc 3 sets at once, you can't do them together. It'd be one procs, and then after a second, the next one could proc. Then after that, the next one. How priority will be dictated, I have no idea. When you have 5 things up that can proc, how does it choose which one? Might be random. Generally, everything sort of hits in a certain order. For example, if I go up and do like a medium attack, for whatever reason, certain things always procced first. For whatever reason on their back end. So like a Vaitran would proc up front. Say that always procs first, that would probably always proc first and take precedence maybe over the enchantments. The point of this is to try to limit burst combos. That's the point of it. Throwing enchantments and poisons in there really hits that point even more so. It's interesting what that does to bounce. Like the Stamsork build that I have and run right now does proc enchantments along with sets, for example, right? But the skill's not counted in there. Like the crystal weapon, which you put up before the fight. They're not counting that. Why that's interesting is some classes have more of those combos than others. Say, for example, a Necro that can summon Blast Bones and then do some combo into a Dawnbreaker while the Blast Bones is hitting. Same thing with Warden being able to put up Subterranean Assault and then hitting. So these things are tagged on, and why certain classes excelled at the burst combos versus others. I think it's just weird for some classes. But anyway, let's move. Let's keep moving through. Fix an issue where some abilities. Okay, we already did that stuff. Okay. Dragon Knight, Ardent Flame, Combustion. Increase the resources granted from this passive 500/1000 stamina or magicka up from 250 and 500. Add a cooldown of half a second to each effect, which is separately tracked from one another, to make up for the above increase and the massive buff the charged trait is getting. Okay, that's nice for them. DKs. This ability in Cauterized Morph now grant Major Prophecy and Savagery rather than only Prophecy for Inferno. The Flames of Oblivion Morph now launches 3 fireballs up from 2 since it lost part of its unique morph function. Lava Whip. This ability in Morphs now scale for your highest offensive stat rather than exclusively magic based. Fix an issue where this morph did not apply off bounce to targets who were immobilized, but not already off bounce. The override ability Power Lash now heals immediately rather than over 2 seconds, but its total healing per cast has been reduced by approximately 43%. However, Power Lash no longer has a 3-second cooldown. Ballerinas are back. This is going to be my last patch note review. I'm too jaded as an individual to read these things anymore. I find no comedic relief in some of these lines. Like, ballerinas are back. I'm still hung up on putting in a fucking set that's doing 12% more reduction. I'm just I can't find the. I've always loved ESO, man. I've always loved its combat. And I feel like it's a mad scientist's laboratory now. I feel like there's no oversight. No one really cares what happens in the end. We're gonna read through a lot of class changes here. It looks like where we're gonna see the hybrid continue getting pushed, which I'm not even against the whole idea of hybrid. I think it's cool. It opens up accessibility and builds and different options and stuff like that. It's a delicate and tough thing to do without destroying what was already laid down, the foundation of it. With that said, the idea of the foundation of the combat in this game just doesn't matter, which is where I feel like it's just like a mad scientist's laboratory. Like, there could be absolutely bizarre concepts put into some things, and I don't think anyone cares. I don't think anyone gives a damn. Like, I don't know. That's just how and if you could comment and make an argument about it, like, no one cares either, right? Like, why do the review to begin with? Which is why I'm clearly a jaded individual trying to read these things, and yeah, it's no hit towards. I mean no offense in saying it. It just doesn't seem like there is remotely any direction, like not even close to a direction of, like, you have no idea what's coming in the next patch notes. And for some folks, that's probably exciting, I guess. I don't know. But, like, don't expect it to make sense. Expect to have sets that are, like, juiced like we have now, or metas where people are getting one-tapped. And in that same meta, still have people that are unkillable. It's insane. When things are so off the charts all over the place, you can't keep control of anything, which is ironic, given the fact that so much of this has been run through a spreadsheet, which is supposed to, like, normalize things across the board, and yet they've never been farther apart. It's insane. All right? Some Twilight Zone feeling shit out here for me. But yeah, let's keep rolling. I like the idea that they're moving towards the hybrid thing. I do actually like that. I should say that. Probably an unpopular opinion for the min-max mentality. I think it's a good thing because the game's always kind of managed to have hybrid type stuff. I just don't think any of it's done well. In the sense of, like, I don't think this is bad. Adding the this one, the major prophecy and savagery. Like, I think it's, like, cool stuff like that. It allows someone to approach their class with more options. It's just as far as balance goes, nothing's balanced, dude. It's not even close. But all right, let's just keep chugging along here. And here's the thing. To close that thought off, all the decisions, like, regardless of what I say, like, that's my opinion and that's fine. My opinion doesn't really matter. It's as invalid as you could imagine. Like, the target audience is not me. I understand that. And that's why you get this kind of stuff. The target audience isn't for min-max. It's not for endgame. It's not to be balanced. It's to kind of just be like, whatever, have fun. That's what I mean. It's just, but, you know, having come from so many years of consecutive level of foundation in the game, where balance was slowly moved along and things were adjusted, there were reactive changes to things that were overperforming. You kind of knock them down. Maybe they're not done right, but there's a goal in mind. Now it's just like constantly blazing forward into a future with no real target other than to just open up accessibility across the board. And are things going to be broken? You bet. And when they get too broken, you get something like, all right, just put in a hard cap on crit. Why are we doing that? Because all our fucking numbers are way off the charts. They're out of control. They don't even make sense in our own concept. How did that happen? Well, we did like 2 patches in a row where we added different ways to stack crit modifier by 20% from different things. Yeah, it's crazy, dude. Just cap it instead. How's that? All right, sounds good. And you get there, you know. But anyway, just roll through. World of Ruin. World and Ruin. The passive now increases your flame damage done with flame and poison attacks by 2 and 5%, rather than increasing your damage done with AoE attacks by 3 to 6%. Reducing the cost of your poison abilities. This passive has been holding back the class in terms of PvE damage output for quite some time, pigeonholing the class into an unsynergetic Earthen Cloud, Ash Cloud. This ability and its morphs now costs 378 magicka every second while active, rather than having a massive upfront cost. Okay. These abilities now tick 15 times the duration down. Okay. Oh, Battle Roar. I always like this passive. This passive now restores health, magic, and stamina per ultimate consumed, rather than 23 and 24 health, magic, and stamina per the ult's cost. Okay. So that means you could store up more. Yeah, it'll help your sustain when sitting on ult cast. That's not a bad idea. I mean, that's a lot of juice restored. Actually, a good change. Ash Cloud costs so much. Super good change. Yeah, it's too many numbers to read, dude. Ash Cloud feels good. Let's be honest, Pain. Good change. You're never. You might cast Ash Cloud like 5 times in the remainder of your lifetime. Okay. With this change. Okay. Maybe. All right. Then you're going to be retiring that DK for the rest of your life. All right, here we go. Necromancer, Gravelord, Boneyard. Increase the damage ability in its morphs by about 10% per tick, since they tick 10 times instead of 11 after the change of update 30. The Nightblade's Assassination, Grim Focus. Ability morphs now grant 1% damage done per stack, rather than 2% crit damage and healing per stack. This is for the crit cap. This change was done to help ensure the class keeps the blah, 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 blah. Shadow Path Darkness, Twisting Morph. Abilities damage now scales dynamically with the highest of your offensive stats. That's cool. Sorcerer, Stormcalling, Lightning Splash. Fixed an issue with this ability. It was ending too soon and missing an extra tick. Okay. Templar, Adric Spear. Spear Shards. Fixed an issue with this ability. Its morphs were ending slightly too soon, causing them to miss the extra tick. Dawn's Wrath, Backlash. Abilities morphs. Visual effects are now visible to the caster and enemies rather than anyone. Storing Light, Cleansing Ritual. Increase the scaling coefficient of this ability. Its morphs by approximately 70% since they tick 6 instead of 7. Warden, Green Bounce. Fixed an issue where his morphs of Healing Seeds was not contributing to this passive. Vampire, Mistform. Its ability, its morphs damage reduction now only works against player attacks rather than any attack, to prevent it from invalidating many threats in PvE encounters. Rest in peace, J-Dub. That's good. Minimize this problem only to PvP. Pain's Refuge. New World. This star now reduces your damage taken by 2% for every 2 negative effects on you, rather than 1% for every negative effect, while cap still remains at 20%. Yeah. All right. Okay. Warfare. Okay. Fix an issue where some tooltips will display improper values. Item sets that proc off damage shields will now work with hardening enchantment. Fix an issue where the many sets require you to drink a potion only worked when you're actively looking at another target. This was happening with alchemists and stuff. Fix an issue where many sets that require crit strikes could proc off other procs. Okay. Following rules will now be followed with sets applicable. Sets that grant weapon or spell damage now grant both. Physical and spell pen now grant both. Weapon and spell crit now grant both. Okay. More hybrid stuff. Item sets to scale off weapon and spell damage. Max stam now critically strike. Below sets that can critically strike and have... Okay. Alright, I'm not going through all that stuff, dude. You're out of your mind. Frenzied Momentum. We'll check that one out. Reduce the damage by 28%. Stacks now grant 30 weapon and spell damage up to 10 times rather than up to 5. Just going to move on. Item sets that deal a burst of damage in 4 seconds now have a 1 second window after proccing that prevents similar item sets from activating. Okay, this is what I was talking about earlier. Item sets now have innate counterplay such as delays, minimum travel times, warning telegraphs have 1 second cooldown or no cooldowns are exempt from this adjustment. If wearing multiples of these sets at once, any action that would activate multiple sets will instead trigger the first one you equipped and suppress the others for 1 second. After that 1 second passes, you'll be able to attempt to trigger them again. Sets affected by this change are listed below. Okay. All right. It's in the efforts to help reduce the viability of stacking multiple proc sets at once and triggering them at high moments of burst. We've adopted a new standard for sets that lack ingrained counterplay. These sets will now always prevent other sets on the list from activating in a singular moment, reducing the ability to front-load damage into such things as heavy attack or ultimates and instantly killing targets. The list can be expanded and adjusted upon in the future. Moving forward, item sets will be held under greater scrutiny in terms of ensuring there are either moments or opportunities to avoid outright prevention in terms of stacking. Charge increased the potency. Chaotic Whirlwind reworked. Now grants Chaotic 5 seconds after Whirlwind, getting 5% move speed per stack, increasing your weapon and spell damage by 6% for every 1% bonus move speed you have, up to 450. Okay. Stacks up to 5 times. Upon reaching 5, the duration doubles and cannot be refreshed. I'm going to be skipping from here forward, sorry. Let's look at Acuity. This item now grants a stack of Acuity for 4 seconds whenever you deal a non-crit damage, granting 20% crit chance per stack, up to once every half second. After this effect ends or reaches 5 stacks, it cannot occur for 25. Change is done to help tone down the burst enabling nature of this set. Okay. Egg rolling, thank you. A year.
Coming to get you.
Coming to get you. Welcome back. Thank you for the resub, dude. Rip your burst combo. Yeah, well, here's the thing. This hits a lot of... Right now, you can almost burst insta-kill with almost any class, depending on your target, with just the sets alone, which won't be the case with these new things. The thing about it is, that's weird, is it's almost like people don't realize that people are not only just getting insta-killed by proc sets. Like, damage is still, obviously, still very high. It has been since CP 2.0. What this will do is, you know, empower those classes still. I think someone says Dark Convergence is nerfed in here too, but yeah, there's still already like classes that can still go in and put out stat based damage in conjunction with like one burst set, or using 2 sets. For example, I go in with like a pre-fight skill up, do a medium attack into someone with a Dawnbreaker, disables them. They've been hit by that and the set. Plus the skill I did pre-attack. And then you followed up with an execute in your second proc set, right? So like it's still there because what 1 second is not very long. 1 second window starts as soon as the set procs, which is right before the moment you're being stunned, which on your screen, you haven't even seen the fact that you're stunned yet. So by the time you're stunned, like hit the ground, you're slamming CC break and you're getting up, the other thing's already able to hit. Regardless of that, this just kind of seems to push the concept of certain classes and certain combos they have. People will still die very quick. It just won't be full set loaded, but certain sets will still be leveraged with that set, right? So, anyway. Update for monster masks. Use the correct terminology for their weights. They now use guys for light, mask for medium, massage for heavy. Okay. Domihas now fires both flame and physical rings at the same time at half the original damage. Here's Dark Convergence. Reduces set's damage by about 59%, but increase the scaling per target to 50% up from 10. Reduce the radius to 10 down from 12. Pulls once after its delay rather than twice over its duration. The pull now pulls all nearby enemies rather than 6 per pull. Set's currently seeing a lot of success in its original target area, killing large groups and players who don't respect the area of effect. However, it's doing its job a little too well and being run in situations with low target counts. So yeah, like this set on Necro next patch is going to give you a clean combo. Necro's already really good, and they're already really good with it. But, like, I don't see any reason why. And they're not the only class. Like, let's not be silly. But just throwing this down, and even in a low target count, such as Battlegrounds, still hit 2 or 3 people with it, and Dawnbreak in the middle of it. How is that not still going to bust your ass? Tell me that. Yeah, I think the biggest thing with Dark Conversion, that seems to be a majority of the notes. I skipped through some things. I didn't read everything that might be relevant to all players. I apologize. But you can check them out. I'll link it in here if anyone's interested too. Looking for the link. You have an update. Maybe you should shut down the PC. We could. We'll get there. Maxark also uses a high degree of success. They can, yeah. Yeah. I mean, a lot can. Even STAM people have used it to pretty good success, too. There's a lot of success with it. Here's the thing with Dark Conversions. It obviously doesn't feel good, and it's not limited to when you're zerging. Like, I just did a Battleground, and I was... they fixed the yo-yoing and limiting the pull to only 1 per act, when it's activated. Still really strong. I don't think it's in like a proper spot. I said it before many years ago. I've said it through the years. Trying to solve Zerg tactics, trying to solution that in your game as a developer by implementing 1 set. It's not really a great idea, especially when the set is implemented, doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel good to players. And this gets extremely compounded at prime time when you're lagging so bad that you get pulled by the thing and you're smashing CC break and you end up dying to stuff that you know is coming. You know it's coming and you still can't get away from it because it's lagging. And if you try to discuss this, you'll get like, we're aware of the performance issues and we are working on it. To its credit, ESO has done so much for its client. And they've done a great job with it. Patch after patch. I see a lot of people on the forums, as I've talked about, the ESO forums are filled with people that are just stupid. It's just like, it's a wasteland of stupidity for the most part, not everybody. So they don't understand the difference between like client-side lag or server lag. They'll be like, my game's running great. The game does run pretty good now. I also have like a NASA PC, but it runs great for a lot of people. They've made a lot of great improvements. Kudos to ZeniMax. They constantly are upgrading the client. Year after year, they step it up. And they do this in part to keep it a very enjoyable experience for consoles. They've done a phenomenal job at this, like 10 out of 10. They work on the client a lot. It's hard to make an MMO that functions as well as ESO does on a console. It's kind of like part of its target and what it does. As far as the server goes, we all obviously know it's not great. I don't have to go into it. I don't have to dig into it. We know it's not great. We know we will forever be told that they're working on it, when in reality it can't be solved. To really solve the server issue, you would have to alleviate the bottlenecks from happening. In Cyrodiil, it would, involve reshaping how combat works so you don't have faction stacks everywhere you go. There's no effort put in any of that, right? It's just, let's put in a set. And that set can kill Zergs, and it doesn't feel good when you die to it. And then you wonder why people come to the forums like enraged. Like, not only are they lagging, but then they're dying to a solution put in that feels terrible. All right. I know we all know New World's coming. I'm going to be playing it. A lot of people are going to be playing it. So, a lot of people are just omega-lolling and writing it off. But I'm just trying to leave some parting words with it because I loved my time in Cyrodiil. It is a wasteland of poo-poo now. It is universally agreed upon. Hardcore players, veterans, new players, PvEers, whatever it is just like a bad place. And it's because it just has received no love. I think the closest thing to support it got this year was the new Siege emote. Okay. But, yeah, I mean, it is what it is, man. Like, and it sucks because you have, like, I'm excited. I'm excited for New World. Like, we're going to be doing New World soon, and that'll be fun. So you guys won't have to see me talking about it with a face of defeat right now. But frankly, I'm just trying to talk, like, what I'm doing is, I don't want to be insulting. Like, I love ESO. This game gave me so many, like, good years of PvP. It built my stream. It's awesome. Like, a lot of things. I've loved all my interactions with the devs and stuff. But it sucks in the last, like, couple years how much I've had to myself see, like, me and my community, we're treated like shit. Like, honestly. Across the board. And rightfully, some people are assholes, and because you guys get angry, I get it. But it sucks seeing people get angry and no solutions come in, and then they're like, "Man, fuck those PvP people," you know. And in my last couple years, I've tried to tell people to, like, be chill, don't go, especially don't attack the devs and stuff. Like, they're not bad people. They're really not. Like, working with some of the devs and meeting them have been really good times as well. Gina's been the best community manager I've ever seen in any game. It's not even close. But it sucks seeing such a cool community, a large part like a lot of my community, um, just treated like, you know. Now I'm not saying like Zenimax comes in insults, but because they don't like attack them. But I think we all know it's almost like, oh, here come the PvPers, nothing good to say, a bunch of assholes. If you go in the forums, it's PvEers, and they're like, this is a PvE game, dude. Fuck off, PvPer. You should know you're not gonna get anything. Like, I don't know what the point is of even trying to support the game's PvP at this point. Is what I'm getting at. It's such a toxic relationship that's been created. If you bring up stuff about PvP as a content creator, and other content creators that do PvP will echo the same sentiment that I am now. It's just not, you're not treated well. Like, you're looked at as like a complainer. Um, and it's part of why we don't get any, we don't get much either. It's not a good place to grow for PvP. This game's phenomenal to build a non-PvP based community. Like, if you want to do like housing content and like tutorials and role play and beginner builds and lore stuff, because the game shines there. But it has created such a toxic environment to live as a PvPer, both as a player and a content creator. And I try to feel for the different parties as a content creator. I like my community a lot. I love what I've built here. So I don't condone the people that go and say nasty shit. I understand everyone's frustration though. And I just don't know, man. I don't know what the point is, like with Cyrodiil. I swear to God, like you throw in a set and you're like, this will solve everything, right? Like, no, it's just you create another experience, and then the cycle continues where you're like, man, these guys just complain. If you're not going to support it, just shut it down. You know, there's no developers that touch on it on streams. None of them will play it. You know, we have developers that stream the game now. You know, how many times have they been to Cyrodiil? Probably fucking zero. And they have been there before too. It's just, I don't know. I don't know what it is. Like, I'm gonna be playing New World. I love ESO. It'll always have a special place for me. The last couple years have been like kind of depressing. Just seeing all this negative cycle, constant. Everything I'm talking about, it just keeps cycling and cycling. You know, and it's like it's not good. It's like it's really shitty. You're creating an environment where people are just like not happy for the most part. And that's not what ESO is about. Like, it's created an awesome environment for so many people. It really has. I know a lot of people from my community are just like PvPers, and you might not give a shit about this or that. The game shines in so many departments that you guys may not play, and that's okay. It's important to be like respectful of their stuff. There's certain things, like this game has been an amazing outlet for a lot of people, but for PvPers, it has been literally the opposite. It's this toxic relationship, and it's because it's getting such little support. Like, I don't know, man. Like, just I'm not advocating people like do whatever, do what you want, be respectful, people especially, but like, don't let it drag you down too much, because it can, if you keep caring and you keep getting worked up about stuff. If you're playing PvP and you don't care, you have to not care. You have to have that mindset to not care, because that's all you're going to get on the other end. And that's part of what I'm saying. I don't know. I don't know what I'm trying to say. I wish it wasn't what it was the past couple years. That's all. Old Soul, thank you for 71 months, man. Someone that's been here through a lot of what I'm talking about. Welcome back. Thank you for the resub and the message. Dob, thank you for 38. Welcome back, dude. Thanks for the resub, dude. I didn't really read chat during any of it. I just kind of had to vent a little bit of it. I don't say all this like negative and depressed. I'm excited for the future. I very much am. I really am. And if I'm not playing ESO much at all or any in the future, we'll see. I don't know. I'm not gonna shit on the game either if I'm not playing it. Again, like, I am very thankful and fortunate to have had all the time and experience with it. I definitely will never be dedicated to the game as I have been in prior years. I can't be, because of what I'm talking about. And I'm not even mad. I'm just like kind of sad to see like that PvP environment just get like treated so differently. and a lot of times they're acting out. Like, I get it. You know, and community managers or whatever, they have to do their job. Like when you guys go spam chats or something, I get you getting timed out or banned. But there's some stuff, man, where and it doesn't matter where you're at or what level, where it's just like, I don't know. I don't know what the advice is. Like, you know, I just wish it was better. I just wish it was better, dude. That's all. And I think it's a blessing to have some other stuff to get excited about in the near future. I really am. I'm excited for that. Excited to not be filled with varying levels of disappointment and anger over some of these things. That's part of why I can't read the patch notes and like laugh at some of the little comments, because they don't make sense. Some of these changes just don't make sense. It's when it's so painfully apparent that there's no attention on anything that you as a PvPer have experienced in the last 3 to 4 months or something in that patch. Be like, oh, they only hit like the top 3 things everyone's doing, but there's 10 ways to, you know, skin that cat, but they're hitting the top 3. So the next month will be somewhere between the other 7 and whatever else comes in and find some weird combination. You know what I mean? For what it's worth, I get what you're saying. Long time Zos Lurker. Happy to see you growing in new games. Fit what you want. Thanks for your passion over the years. Maybe the 20. Appreciate it, man. No, I'm excited for it. And I'm trying to... Thank you, dude. I appreciate it. I'm trying to say it because I really have nothing but love for pretty much everyone there, too, at ZeniMax. I've had so many cool times being at the studio and seeing them at places like TwitchCon, plus other things we've done. It's been a lot of fun. I'm just, yeah, I don't know. I know I'm covering these patch notes with less passion or whatever right now, and they used to be more fun and stuff. And it is good for me to like obviously branch out. No one does anything forever either, and this game is so good at certain things. I've looked at it a lot over the last month, different stuff on the forums, and I've just seen, it's just like really, really bad for PvPers. And I say that in the sense of like, they're kind of like a community. I feel like I'm like one of the last standing shepherds of like people that can try to speak for PvPers, right? And I see people invest a lot, get really worked up, and just get like shit on by a bold majority. If you go on the forums, you're gonna get outnumbered like 10-1 by people that are like, this game's not for you, buddy. This is a PvE game. So first of all, step back and fuck yourself. And it's like, dude, this guy doesn't have a chance. But you're met with that at every medium of communication regarding PvP. That's all. And I don't know. I don't know. So that part's rough, and it kind of breaks my heart a little. It does. I kind of get a little sad that like it's just like such an outcast feeling. That's all. But anyway, I guess that's a patch notes review, dude. I don't even know what the fuck I'm talking about now. But a lot of cool I'll tell you what, there are a lot of really cool systems with all that said. Like the armory stuff, like that's what ZeniMax does so well. It does shine in those categories. It really does. It shines in those categories, those systems, all those things. That's what it's good at. And it is actually doing great with client performance. They're even the first ones on the DLAA. You know, some of the new NVIDIA tech. Like, they're really good at that. They're really good at taking care of the client, especially considering where they were like 3 or 4 years ago. The client needed help. They didn't know how to address it. They've continuously worked at it over the years. I don't know, man. I mean, I don't know. It feels wrong for me to say what they should do with Cyrodiil when I'm about to play something else. I just feel like it's a toxic wasteland right now. Like, I feel like a lot of negativity comes out of there. That's all. I don't know what to do with it. That's, I'd shut it down personally, but obviously it's not, and I don't, my opinion doesn't really have any influence there anyway, so it doesn't matter. Azrael, thank you for 11. Welcome back. From the Syndicate player, I will enjoy watching the Covenant streams, friend. Hell yeah, man. PV is their main priority. Yeah, I don't even call it PvE. PvE is included on most sides of the fence. That's not even like there. It's more about like for me, I bubble it into like new player experience, systems, lore, storytelling. You know, things like this, creating a world, an atmosphere, kind of an escape for people, which a lot of MMOs do or try to do, and it does that very well. Um, it's part of its curse, ESO, is it had a very polarizing combat system. People either hated it or they loved it. The people that loved it couldn't find anything else anywhere else. And regardless of what you want to say, its combat system and its balancing have just been massively ignored and not prioritized to prioritize all those other things that it did prioritize, and successfully so. And frankly, like if I was a business person at ZeniMax, I would rate it like 10 out of 10. Like they did what they should have done well, I guess. You go back like 6 years ago when they had the crossroads of what to do, I would have tried to build PvP then. It was probably too late by like Morrowind. I mean, at Morrowind, they still could have done it, actually. And there was still a lot of content creators here. Battlegrounds was coming in. They were still like along those lines, but it drifted from there. It is what it is. It's my point in going through all that is not to poke at like what's bad. I just see so much like bad negativity with it all, and I see it not. I play ESO a lot less now, and I usually jump to another game and do something else. But I've seen it in other people that are PvPing, man. Like Payne, I watched you 2 days ago. You screamed for like 20 minutes straight in Cyrodiil. You're just screaming for like 20 minutes straight. But that's how a lot of people feel emotionally out there. Irva, thank you for 10 months. Welcome back. Thank you for the resub. And it's hard. And if I'm forced out there in bad conditions, I'm in the same boat, dude. It's rough. So I don't know. I feel like it's just more of like a message to like PvP people and people that have either been in this community or they're hate watch lurkers. Like, just look out for your own like mental fucking state, because like, yeah, I don't know. Take care of yourselves, okay? Obviously, that goes with any game. If you're if it's not doing great for you, maybe do mix in some other stuff, okay? All right. Anywho, here's your patch notes review. Also, Hrothgar got nerfed. It's not anywhere in any patch notes, okay? They fixed the AoE, and then they nerfed the set on top of it to ensure it wasn't useful in any situations, combat-related. Mission accomplished. Part of the sledgehammer approach that I dread, and I am exhausted reading. Set's overperforming. Why is it overperforming? Because it's bugged. All right, fix the bug and absolutely take its fucking kneecaps out, both of them. All right? Now it's really fixed. There's no one's going to use it. All right? Come on. The AoE got fixed too? Yeah. Yeah. So. Anyway, for PvP, there's a lot. I'll tell you what, there'll be a lot of interesting stuff next patch, but you'll probably still see a lot of similar burst. You'll see a lot of tankiness still. Less people bursted so easily as this patch. This patch was pretty tremendous amounts of burst. Set to also crit next patch. That's I don't know where that was in there. I'm sure it was in there. So the proc sets can crit next patch too. So your Dark Convergence that will scale up by 50% per target could also crit targets, as they are furiously trying to CC break, failing to, dying in one shot to a 38,000 damage Dark Convergence. Boom, controller goes into the wall. Now you got a hole in the wall. Okay? Can't get your security deposit back. It's all over, dude. shit falls apart real fast on the battlefield. Take care of yourselves out there.